continue to stand with the people.
The champ is here.
I will not lose.
I'm a bad man. I shook up the world.
Yes, welcome. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with we. My name is EJ, and I got my man,
MH.
Yes, he is the DB of the show, and we are Black in Sports, giving a voice to the culture that won't shut up and dribble. Here, interviewing the best professionals in the game and in the boardroom, covering it all, laughing at it all, while providing a platform to be heard. So, you know how we do it. We jump right into it. I want to introduce our guest today. I feel like I should go back to the days of my dorm room. I should be bumping Wu-Tang Clan right now, right? In the back room, getting hyped. Because today we're going to get an inside look into the Swarm. So, we're going to talk a little more about that as we kind of get into the show. And as our listeners know, MH always gets excited when we have another DB on the show. So, so we're going to be doing some different coverages on you guys. So I hope you guys can keep up. So, right now, we want to tap into an all-around coach, and you're going to see about all the experiences he's gotten to. But today, he is currently the defensive coordinator of Delaware State University Hornets. Please clap it up for Coach Brandon Blackmon. Clap it up. That boy good.
Let's go.
Absolutely. So, hey, how we start our show is we do a shoot your shot moment. All right. So this is where we kind of ask where you went and shot your shot, right? It could be anything, any time of life. It could have been, early Pop Warner days, something in school, or your current career. But we just like a little quick short story where you shot your shot, man. You could have won, or you could have learned a lesson. So give us that shoot your shot moment.
You know what? I have an easy moment. So one time when I was a young junior college coach, trying to make my path and make my way, we all have these big dreams to go coach Power 5 football. And my shot actually came when Billy Napier, who's now the head coach at Florida, Rob Likens, who's now the wide receiver coach for SMU, they came to me and they said, "We want you to be our tight ends coach for Arizona State football." And for me, I've been a DB guy my whole life, been a defensive guy. And I'm like, wait, say again, you want me to do what? And so for me, the first thing that came to my mind was, hey, a lot of us brothers, man, we don't get these shots. So I got to hold it down. And so, it was a lot of it was just, and thankful for my pops and my wife, it was, hey, just bet on yourself. Go trust yourself, and it was cool, man. I went there. Todd Graham was our head coach at the time before Herm Edwards. And it was awesome, man. I learned a lot from those guys. Billy Napier, he was coaching under Nick Saban and all them guys. So I had to learn that whole playbook as a former defensive guy right off the bat, and I'll never forget it because my first practice out there, they're yelling out 12 personnel. And I'm looking around like, well, I can go to the tight ends and, oh, yeah, that's me. And so, but man, it was a good time, man. I enjoyed it, learned a lot. And, that was a turning point for me in my career because it was like, all right, you're here. You're around all the guys you've been watching on TV, all the players you've been watching on TV, but now it's you. You're the one that controls these guys. So let's go, get it going. And so from there, it was, hey, let's go, man. You're one of these guys. You have every right to be here. Let's get it. So I'm blessed, man. No complaints.
No, that's a shoot your shot right there, boy.
I definitely. And we get into this later in the conversation, but the tight end is almost like the power forward in basketball. It's going to determine how you're going to play the game. So I bet you learned a lot, I'm sure it helps you out today through that experience. But Coach, where did your love for just sports and football in general start? Where did that start?
Yeah, so I come from a family. I got some family on my mom's side. They worked for the Cleveland Browns. And I know that's not America's team right there early on, but they worked, whether they were a chef, they worked as admin, whatever they could do with the Cleveland Browns, they did it. On my dad's side, I got some family that worked for the Cincinnati Bengals. So the Bengals and the Browns, that runs pretty deep through the veins right there. Marvin Lewis, who's my mentor, my everything, head coach of the Bengals. And so that kind of really got my love going for football. I just didn't know I was like any one of my players or any other young man. We all think we're going to be playing in the NFL, having a nice long career. But, man, that's where my love started. And I'm very fortunate to still be in the game. I don't take it for granted. And so, man, that's how it all started, man. Just my dad brainwashed me with the Cincinnati Bengals, and my mom's family brainwashed me with the Cleveland Browns. So it was a young man out in California, get home from church, try to watch one of those games as fast as you could. So
for sure.
Well, it's going to be my question, right? So you're a Cali guy, right? Like grew up in California, a Fulton High School, alumni. So like, how did you guys get out to Cali? Like, or just what was the kind of connection?
Yeah. So this is funny too. So I'm an 85 baby, but somewhere along the way, my mom and my dad, right before they had me, they were both living out in Cincinnati. They were both working some nice jobs. And I want to say my mom got a job out in California, and my dad came with him. He was working at, my dad came with her, and he was working at IBM, I want to say, something like that. And, that's how it all started. And then I was born in Orange County. I want to say I was the first African-American premature baby. I only weighed 3 pounds. So shout out to myself, man, for making it through.
Hey, that's shoot your shot, right? Just living, man.
Hey, that's the ultimate shot right there now.
That's what's up. So is there any other sports? I mean, Cali, Southern Cal, you hoop?
You know what? Yeah, I was a bit of a hooper. Now I play basketball like a football player now. you try to dunk on me, you try to go for a layup, I'm gonna take them legs smooth out.
I get it.
Okay.
Yeah, I get it. Pat Beverly energy. Yeah,
exactly.
Sure.
Exactly. So no, I played a little basketball, played a little baseball, but then I wasn't too many brothers out there, so I was like, man, let me go to track. That's where everybody was at, and I had some speed, so did some track, man, but. No, primarily I guess track and football. That was my thing.
Okay, we always like whenever we get excited when we get track guests on there. That's the root of all athleticism. So what was the events there in track?
I did the 400.
Okay.
I did the 100. I did the 200.
Who taught you into the 400? Because I know that had to be a conversation.
You know what?
Something like what
Fullerton High School ain't a big school, and you know how it is sometimes at those smaller schools. It'll be this event, it'll be that event. Hey, we need somebody to do it. Ain't nobody raising their hands. All right, Blackmon, you're up. And it's like, man, you know what I'm saying? So I've done it all, man. I've done the 800. I think I've done the mile a couple times.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so
you're a corner, you're a defensive back. That's what happens, man.
Exactly.
Yeah, I get it. Talk to me a little bit about the the recruiting process for you, and as you were developed in high school and got to a point where you can take it to the next level. Talk to me about that process.
Yeah,
for you as a player.
No, it's an easy one. So played at Fullerton High School. I was a prep running back. Really didn't have much coming out of high school at the time. Went to Mount Sac Junior College, and that's where everything opened up for me. I had a coach. He's now the DB's coach, the corners coach for UCLA. His name is Demetrius Martin, a.k.a. Coach Meats. He said, hey, you can either be a big running back, but only one guy's going to be in the field, or you can go to DB, and there's about 4 to 5 of those guys out there. And I looked at all the homies at DB, and I said, man, I'm going over there. And so it was cool, man. I went over to DB. And, it was just kind of natural for me. And again, it's funny. Nick Saban keeps coming into this light. So Demetrius Martin, I want to say he was don't quote me on this. I want to say he was an All-American defensive back at Michigan State under Nick Saban. If he wasn't All-American, he was all-team first conference. Okay, but he played under him, and he was the one that really taught me a lot about defense, playing defensive back. Then his younger brother who played with me, Jason Martin, he's the corners coach at Western Kentucky. I had John Richardson, who's the corners coach at University of Washington. We were all together in the same backfield, man. And so it was cool. That was kind of like what really got me going, being around those guys, learning the game. And from there, man, it was awesome. Just having all the different universities, and it wasn't small universities. It was the big schools, and it was like, wait, you're here to talk to who? To me? And so it was awesome, man. Michigan State, Purdue, Arizona State, some other schools that were coming out there. And it was a blessing, man. And For me, ended up going to Purdue University right off the bat. Did some okay things over there, and then went to Tennessee State. And so I've been fortunate, man. I know it's like the Power Five, and I know what it's like in Black college. And when I went to Black college, man, it was awesome, man. I was playing with guys like Dominique Rodgers, Camardi, Anthony Levine. You know
that was one of my questions, because I think he's super underrated as far as just one of the all-time greats at the position.
Yes.
DRC for real. I mean, at 6'2", the way he could maneuver almost like a little guy is incredible. And I think he blocked like some crazy amount of kicks in college or some things like that too. I thought he was special, but I don't want to cut you off, Coach. No,
you're good. Yeah, you're good. You know what's funny? Quick story for you. So obviously, with my head coach being one of the most prolific deep threats in football, I said if there was just one guy, just one guy that could kind of run with you, give you a little bit of a challenge, he said DRC was one of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
So how about that? There you go.
Man was cold, man.
So it's funny, man. Like you mentioned what the coach's philosophy is a like best kept secret, right? Like I don't think, because when you said that, I just remember so many conversations, you know, that I've had from high school coaches to my college coaches and making those decisions, right? Like even when I was thinking about transferring, you know, your coach pull you up and say, hey, hey, coach, I'll support you in whatever you want to do. You know, I'm there for you. But then they hit you with some like simple philosophy, like, you know, do you want to be a big fish in a big pond? No, a small fish in a big pond, or like,
yeah.
All right. And so the decision's always yours. But the coaching philosophy, man, I mean, so many different things. Like I was just talking to one of the guys I played football with, going back to my own town, and I just remember him. We were just talking about how he switched positions 3 times, right? And it was just those kind of conversations where the coach comes up to you, hit you with that coach philosophy, man. So I know you build that over time. So thanks for sharing with that, man.
Yes.
So what's maybe another thing, coaching philosophy, or something that you kind of had going through, you know, touching some of those different universities?
It's funny, you know, myself, like I was talking about as a player, you know, having to be versatile and do different things. Like I said, I was a prep running back. I got to college. Hey, if you want to play, only one running back gets in the field. But DBs, there's about 5 of them on the field. So I had to change. I had to adjust. I had to adapt. And, you know, in college, I'm just going to start off with just being a coach. For me, my path as a coach wasn't just always, I'm a defensive back guy. Like I said, when I went to Arizona State, I was coaching tight ends my first year. After that staff had got let go, Herm Edwards comes in. Who am I working with then? I'm working with the D-line. You know, and then my big bro, my mentor, Antonio Pierce, he's up there. I start doing a little bit of stuff with the linebackers, you know. And so for me, my whole career has been bouncing around at different positions. And it wasn't just because I couldn't do something. That's where the opportunity was at. Then I go to the University of New Mexico. I'm hired as the cornerbacks coach. We're standing in front of all the parents for a recruiting meeting, and I get announced as the running backs coach. I'm like, wait, whoa. I just posted, I'm happy to be the DB coach. And now I got announced as the running back coach. And then the next day I walk in, actually, we're going to make you, you know, at that time we had hired some big time coaches over there. And in order to bring the big time guys in, got to move guys around. Hey, you're now going to be the wide receivers coach at the University of New Mexico, you know? And so I preach to these young men, just like when I was coaching wide receivers, don't just learn what the X does, learn what the H does, learn what the Z does. I'm coaching linebackers. Don't just know what the Mike does, learn what the Will has, you know? And so one of my big things, you know, Bobby Wilder, who I worked under, he was always big on, man, bring value. Why should I keep you? Why are you here? And that's the big thing that I try to get across with these young men, because a lot of times you can't give them these big, long messages. It's got to be these straight one-hitters, something that they can remember. And that word is value. Value.
There's that coaching right there. So we kind of started jumping into the career. So let's get in the game, or, you know, the part of the career part. And You mentioned that, and like, MH and I bring this up just because we do the story of the black coach, kind of how that's kind of, going through the college and the professional realm. And a lot of coaches, are strong defensive side of the ball. So it's good that you've really, flexed that muscle, and you kind of answered the question for me, like why? Because you've done offensive side, defensive side, you've done recruiting, hell, you've done strength and conditioning, right?
Yeah.
Like, so you've done all aspects of the ball, and a lot of coaches are afraid to kind of do that. And I think sometimes that limits their opportunities when you're ultimately talking about maybe going Power 5 or going professional or going just to your own head coaching spot. Was that something that you picked up, that like want to pick up everything and be a sponge early, or would someone mentor that to you, or were you just like, hey, I'm a sponge, if I get an opportunity, man, I'm gonna go for it? Like, how did that come about, or did someone kind of give you the insight to maybe follow that lead?
Yeah, it kind of it goes back, and again, a lot of these lessons come from my playing career. It goes back, somebody from the Bengals told me this a long time ago. You're just a safety. You're just a safety. And so why is that a big deal? My dad, my whole life, used to tell me, don't just be a running back. Return kicks, return punts. Do more than what's asked of you. Again, we're talking about value. With the Bengals, somebody had told me, hey, you're just a safety. You know what I'm saying? You're not bringing a lot to the table. And so for me, through a lot of hard lessons in life, that's where I've learned as a coach, man, hey, these opportunities, they're going to come in different ways, different fashions, and you got to be ready for them. It can't just be, oh, I'm not ready for that. Because there's too many brothers that's fighting for jobs right now. This job that I'm sitting in, I'm here to tell you right now, it was a white man that even told me, hey, man, go hit this thing out the ballpark, because these jobs don't happen a lot for us brothers. And so for me, it's been a lot of that in my career, where as black men, we have to, we got to wear a lot of hats. You're not just being a coach in this position. You're not just a coach. So for some guys, you got to be their father. You got to show them a little bit in academics. You got to teach these young men when they walk through your door, coach, there's a young lady that I'm ready to marry. I don't know how to ask her. I got you, son. Don't worry about it. And so I've had to do that throughout my career. I've had to wear a lot of hats, even outside of football. And so I'm the type of guy, man, I roll my sleeves up, even though I'm still the defensive coordinator. If there's something that needs to be done in this building, such as picking up trash or anything, I'm not too big for that. And so that's kind of the mentality that has helped me throughout my career. Man, just be humble, put your head down, and keep grinding. And so that's kind of been my blessing.
Yeah, Coach, I'm backing up a little. I know you mentioned Purdue in education. I know those. I've heard some things about Purdue. What years were you at Purdue? I think we may have just missed each other across paths in a time frame there.
Yeah.
What years were you at Purdue, Coach?
So I was there 06 and part of 07.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I went to it was a money game for us. I went to Northern Colorado and we played Purdue. I want to say it's probably 08.
Yep. That was the year after. I remember that
at Purdue. It wasn't a pretty sight, but it was it was an okay game with the. I can't remember the quarterback. He played for the Colts. I can't.
Curtis Painter.
Curtis Painter.
My guy,
yes,
man. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So obviously, like the Big Ten, with California now with UCLA and USC is in the Big Ten. I guess just talk about being a part of the Big Ten as a player. Some of the Power 5 conferences that you've been a part of as players, and even as a coach, and what college football is kind of going into now a little bit. Just talk to us about kind of the Power 5 experience for you as a player and coach.
Yeah, the first thing is the easiest thing for me as a player and a coach. The better the players are in the field, the smaller the margin is. I guess the way I'm trying to, the margin of error at the Power 5 or Power 4 now, as a coach and a player, it's really small. It's really small. There's certain things that you might get away with, probably at different levels, to where at the Power 5, it's like, it's like run fits. If a linebacker shoots through the wrong gap and that running back sees daylight, bam, he's out of there. You know what I'm saying? And heck, I mean, you think about it in the NFL, you watched it in the playoffs. All right, give Saquon Barkley a little speck of daylight if you want. He's out of there. And so that's really been my biggest thing, you know, about being at that level. But it's awesome, man. You know, the Big Ten, being a part of that was really special. My mom, she actually went to Ohio State University.
Oh, wow.
So it's kind of funny because she's like, why don't you just go to Ohio State? Yeah, you don't just go to Ohio State, Mom. It don't just work out that way. You know, and so, but no, playing at Purdue was pretty special because at that time, Purdue was a pretty good, decent program. They put out a lot of good players in the NFL, and it was cool, man. Every single week, man, whether it's Iowa, Wisconsin, Michigan. I mean, there's no days off, man. Even, I mean, Northwestern could beat you at the heart. You know, I mean, it was a really good conference and still is. And then, you know, heck, Notre Dame, that's your rival. You know what I'm saying? So that was challenging. Then even at Arizona State, you know, USC, Oregon, Washington, you know, there's no days off, man. And so you got to be on your P's and Q's. You got to be sharp at all times. And the players are really good. The coaching is really good as well. And so you just learn to be really detailed. You know, you learn to be really organized as a coach. And you got to be really good at getting your message across because these kids, man, their attention span is like 3 seconds. So you better be really good. You better be a really good teacher at getting your message across. Because if not, man, them kids going to get on YouTube. They're going to watch the real Revis highlight clips. And they're going to be like, Coach, I got it. Don't worry about it.
Now, you mentioned a few of the coaches, you know, AP, I think is a brilliant mind from my interactions with him. So I know he had an influence on you for sure. You said Run Fist, so I immediately thought of Rocky Long through the New Mexico's in, and, you know, his defensive wizardry. So, like, talk about some of the coaches that really helped you develop as a coach and into your style now as a coach.
Yes, that's easy. So the first guy that I'm gonna talk about was Herm Edwards. When I was at Arizona State, I used to bug the hell out of him. He would get on the treadmill every morning at 4:30 a.m. I was like, shoot, man, this is free game. So I'm waking up at 3-something in the morning, and I'm on that treadmill with him, and I'm just talking ball with him. And it was amazing because he was the first coach to tell me, just be yourself. Just be yourself. You know, he used to tell me he sees so many coaches as trying to be this guy, be that guy. Just be yourself, man. And so that helped me a lot because I struggled early in the business where I see everybody just yelling for no reason. You know what I'm saying? Or they see the head coach walk by and they're just yelling and screaming, MFing kids. And I'm like, man, I didn't like that as a player. So why am I going to do that as a coach? That ain't who I am, you know? And so Herm really taught me, man, just be yourself. And then, you know, Antonio Pierce, man, that brother's sharp. Like, that brother is sharp. He puts in work like no other. And he just does such a good job, man. You know, he's a stick and jab type coach with his message. He ain't going to talk very long, but, man, he's going to give you his message, kind of like Herm Edwards. You know, Herm Edwards mess around and tell you, man, it's not your skill, it's your will. And then walk off. You'd be like, damn, that was kind of deep right there. You know what I'm saying? And that so Antonio Pierce, you know, he was the same way, man, just really sharp. You know, then you talk ball with him, and it's like, I see why this guy's a Super Bowl champ. You know, then Marvin Lewis, I mean, just organization, how he gets his message across to his players, how he sees the game, how he connects with players. Those are like my 3 biggest influences, you know. And then just I was privileged, man, you know, guys like Billy Napier, a guy that was in that Alabama system, watching how he carries himself, how he walks around. It's like, okay, I get it. And so that's what I did, man. I took pieces from all those guys. And, you know, it's funny, man, working under Coach Jack, I see a lot of those guys in Coach Jack, man. Like he's no different. I see how he is, how he goes about it. I see that. And so it's kind of cool for me because that's where I think me and Coach Jack really meshed, man. we're like the same guy. Like, don't just be yelling at the kids, be yelling at them. Coach them up. Let's help them. You know, so that's the blessing part for me.
You just mentioned relating to the kids, man. I gotta ask, you know, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you know, you relate to DBs probably a little different than you relate to tight ends. They just have a different, you know, aura about them, I guess. How is that relation with tight ends? I'm very interested in this.
Yeah. So I will tell you this, and this is again, big shout out to Billy Napier on how detailed he is. So I get to Arizona State, and again, it's Coach, I don't know nothing about no dang tight ends now. I don't know. What do they do? And I can't remember his name. Whoever the tight ends coach was for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they flew that man in for 2 weeks. And me and that man just went in a room, in our tight ends room, and he showed me film, and we talked tight end technique, how to coach tight ends, everything for 2 weeks straight. And it's like, that's how detailed that guy is, you know? And so I was very fortunate to where I built that confidence in the offseason to where I could stand in front of those guys and teach them all the techniques, how to keep their pad level down, how to know whether it's a 4 down to 3 down front, you know, how to ID the mic and all that, you know, because coaching tight ends, you got to know what the O-lines do.
Everything.
You know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, you got to know what all the routes are. Whether they're 4 steps, 6 steps, you know. So I was fortunate to where I got groomed, and they put me in a position to have success, and so I was lucky there.
So you've done a lot of recruiting, right? So being at the different universities, right? So from you know, high school to going to the different colleges, you know, Texas Tech to name one. You know, you've been with the New Mexico. And so you just have different recruiting regions. What was it like, you know, recruiting all those different regions, right? Like, and just the recruiting, how has recruiting kind of changed? You know, you talked about the bandwidth that the kids nowadays have, and just kind of just going through that process. That's the first part. And then what would you tell parents, right, that are going through this recruiting process on how to help prepare their kids to put them in a better light? So that's a 2-part question. But yeah, talk to me, like, is a kid in Cali different from the kid in Texas? You know what I mean? When you kind of do the sales pitch and you're laughing, so I already know.
Yes. Wow, that is a great question, because I've been very blessed to where in my career, yes, I've recruited California, I've recruited Arizona, I've recruited Seattle, Washington. I've recruited everything starting in New York, going all the way down to Florida, down I-95. I've been in New Orleans. I've been in Baton Rouge. I've been out in the sticks of Mississippi, Alabama. I mean, I'm telling you, like, here's a quick funny story for you. I've recruited so deep in the sticks. I was out in Georgia. I actually found the house where my family, the slaves, I've actually found where they were at.
Wow.
Yeah, just being deep out in the sticks, I actually found where my past family, where they were slaves at. That's how deep recruiting is. I actually been to places where, I won't say where, but I'm related to a whole little area down in Alabama.
Jeez.
And so, but to answer your question though, you know, it is amazing. When you're in Texas compared to Mississippi, there is a difference. And I'm just going to say the knowledge of the game. The knowledge of the game. Sometimes certain kids in certain states or certain areas, all the bells and whistle might matter more to some kids in a certain area, whereas in some kids, they're just happy to have a helmet, you know? And so that's the one area or the one thing that I've learned is that a lot of these kids, you know, there is a difference. And in order to be successful in a lot of these cities, you got to latch on to somebody. Like, okay, New Orleans, Baton Rouge. I worked with John Simon, who was at Arizona State. Then he was at Memphis. He was the one when I got out there to Louisiana that said, roll with me. You know what I'm saying? And so that's how you kind of got to do it, because it's no different than, you know how it is. If you go to LA, you got to check in with the homies so you can kind of get around.
Yeah, check in with the right person.
Come on. So it's no different than in recruiting. If I'm up in Seattle, there's certain people that I got to call that can get me in touch with the right people for recruiting. If I go to Dallas, there's certain people that I got to get in touch with so that I know I'm going to the right places, I'm getting the right information. And so that's been a big thing, man. But I will say this, man, as far as like what you were saying, as far as advice to parents, we will find you. I don't care where you're at. I don't care how small that city is. We will find you as coaches. We do our work. We do our due diligence. And if you are a ball player, we will find you. If you have good film, we will find you. Now, there are kids, don't get me wrong, that do slip through the cracks. There are, you know, like, I mean, the kid that just played at Arizona State, the running back that they just had, you know, that kid slipped through the cracks. You know, thank God he got up to Arizona State. But there are kids that slip through the cracks. But for the most part, a lot of us, we will find you. And don't get me wrong, there are coaches too that if one school offers somebody, everybody in the country gonna go after that kid. So you know, so there are coaches too that, you know, you might be my homeboy out in Vegas at this school, and you might say, look, I got this kid, nobody's looking at him. If you can, throw him an offer just to kind of help his recruiting get started. I got you. Hey, you got an offer from so-and-so. Just tell them it ain't committable though. But you know what I'm saying? So, but no, at the end of the day, man, we will find you. Don't think you got to pay thousands of dollars to get recruited. If you got good film, you know, you got a good relationship with your coaches, we will find you. Because I get that all the time. Parents hit me up all the time. Do I got to pay all this money just to get my kid noticed? No, you don't. We will find you. No disrespect to the hustlers or whoever that does that to get their money, but I'm just being honest. Like, I mean, I'm still in the office right now. I've been watching film all day, you know, so we will find you.
That's game for the parents, man. Thank you for that, Coach. MH?
Yeah. No, I love it. And it's funny that you say that. My dad's from Texas, and I used to always say, man, y'all just had money there. It's not like y'all didn't really want it more than folks in Alabama. Y'all just had a little bit more money there. The oil money. So it's you know, your experience recruiting all over the country. I'm sure you can understand that as well. Talk to us a little bit about just high school football and how it relates to transfers and all those type of things. Without getting into too much detail for you, Coach, I don't really know. Advice for parents with high school athletes right now, where they might be looking at things like, hey, it might be a little tough for us right now, how, you know, college football is moving. What advice do you have for them in that?
Yep. This is funny. So this actually happened the last time I was in California. And it's kind of sad because a lot of the top players, like when I go back home to California, I'll go to this high school, I'll go to this high school, and I'll go to this high school. And all three coaches would be like, oh, they all transferred to this one school, you know? And it's like, dang, I could have really, if I wanted to, I could have just flew out here and just went to 3 high schools and I'd have been good.
Yeah.
Because that's where they all at. And even when I go to other high schools, I'll have a dad come up to me, man, I'm thinking about getting my kid out of here because he's not getting exposure. And I'm like, I want you to think about what you just said. You want your son to transfer out of this high school where I'm a college coach and I'm standing at right now, and I just walked past Louisville, and you're saying you want this kid to transfer out because he's not getting enough exposure?
Yeah.
Got you. And so you want him to go to another high school where he's got to sit behind the kid that's like number 2 in the nation at his position, and he's not getting enough exposure? Got you. Hey, more power to you. And so my advice is, again, man, and Coach Jack says this quote all the time: feet on land, man. Feet on land. Just wherever you're at, man, just become the best football player, the best young man that you can become, and we will find you. You know, when I fly, like I'm going to New York to go recruiting. I'm going to all 5 boroughs. I'm getting in there. I'm going to all the high schools. Even if you don't have a kid, I'm going to go in there just to build the relationship with the coach.
Yeah.
You know, and so a lot of these kids, it's weird to me that they all think in order for them to be some big time player, they got to go to just one high school to where they can get noticed. It doesn't work that way. I mean, in Vegas, there's more than just one big school out in Vegas. You know what I'm saying?
Say that again, Coach.
I'm not saying any names, but
yeah, I know.
there's a lot of good high schools out there. And so
that have produced NFL talent and that have produced people with college degrees and can go on to that next level. Yes. We may have to rewind that for the people in the back.
Coach. Oh, yeah, we got to clip that one up. Yeah, we got to clip that one up.
All right, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, even in college, we're no different. The NFL will find you. I don't care where you're at. The NFL will find you. They do have something called scouts. They have national scouts. They have regional scouts. I mean, the Philadelphia Eagles were just here at Delaware State. The Washington Commanders were just here at Delaware State. No, we don't have a first rounder. No, we don't. But they're here. Right. And so it doesn't matter where you go, they will find you. So I just wanted to throw that in there for the kids in the back too. So
absolutely. MH, man, you want to jump into those quick hits?
Yeah, Coach, this is just a series of quick questions. You can say about almost 3 and out type thing. Get off the field so that our listeners can kind of know you better. Shout out, give me a name of your favorite teammate.
Ooh, David Pender.
I love it. A hidden talent.
Beatboxer.
Oh, okay. A movie that can always make you laugh.
It's a Jim Carrey one. Oh my Lord. Oh gosh. It's the one where he was getting filmed everywhere and he was walking around. The Truman Show.
The Truman Show. That's a classic. Okay.
Yeah.
I like it. You a defensive coach, so I'm really interested in this. Play it safe and go into overtime. Are we going to risk it? No, play it safe, go into overtime, or risk it and win in the regulation.
I'm glad the rest of my staff and my head coach ain't in here, but scared money don't make money. Let's go.
Hey, it makes the look around kill me. You see the look around is like, look to the left, look to the right.
He's sitting in the house. Let's go.
Let's go.
My last one, Coach, and we off the field here. The Wood or Love in basketball?
The Wood.
Yeah.
As you can see, that was the right answer. But
yeah.
There's no other commentary on that, man. All right. So without further ado, man, thanks for being flexible with us on the show. But we want to jump into the winner's circle. And here in the winner's circle, man, we love to ask our guests what they want to talk about, what's their platform, what they're promoting, pushing. And I love that you came out, you're like, hey, I want to push my program. So as we did in the opening, you are the defensive coordinator for Delaware State University. So I want to give you this right now and say, me and MH recruits, why should we come to the university?
Yeah, first of all, let me make sure they see this brand right here now. All right, there you go. See the logo. Okay.
Let's go, Hornets.
Yeah, that's it, baby. That's it. You know what? The experience here is going to be different than any other experience you get in college football. Yes, we do. We have a lot of coaches with a lot of NFL experience, over 60 years of experience. But you know what? When you get around these guys, you're going to notice a lot of them, they're all great developer of men. They're all great teachers. They care for you. And, man, it's competitive around here, man. We have fun. I'm telling you, as a staff, it's a brotherhood. These players, everybody, every day is game day here. And so because of that, it's okay for football to be fun again. I get it. Everybody wants to be all uptight and stressed out. Man, we have fun, man, and we work hard. It's a brotherhood, like I said, and we all enjoy being around each other. And so, this campus, I know a lot of people have never been to Delaware, but I love it. I'm a California guy. The beach ain't too far. You're just right outside the DMV, but this university is a special place. It is a very special place. I have felt so welcomed on campus. My wife, my family, we have felt so welcomed by everybody. So even if you were to throw football out of it, man, it's a place where you feel comfortable. It's a place where you can thrive. and you can really find yourself and develop, man. And man, these kids here on this team, man, they push each other so hard. They do better than a lot of places I've seen, and that's something that I love. And like I said, man, just as a staff, we're going to push you to be great, and we're going to treat you with respect, and we're not going to call you out your name, man, but we're going to try to develop you to be the best young man that you can become. And so that's why you need to come here. Let's go. Should we pass the collection plate on that one? All right. So great news, right? You know, let's not, what did it say, bury the lead. So you have NFL, one of the best, probably deep threats as your head coach, you know. So Deshawn Jackson in the New Jack era. That's it. I love that, man. I love the play. Like some people may miss that kind of that reference, but being close to the DMV, the New Jack era, that's exciting, man. And you kind of hit on some of the things of philosophy. What does it mean to bring him to a university of this caliber, and just for him to kind of take over the program? Yeah. So I just want you to understand this. When I was just telling you a minute ago of why you should come to Delaware State, I said of everything else without even having to say Coach Jackson. Why? Because it's our culture that is something that's special. And so that's a culture that he has instilled here. You know, I love it. The guy, he can easily walk around and just constantly brag, man, I was this guy in the NFL. I did this, I did this, I did this. But, man, he walks in here as a head football coach. He's been developed the right way. And again, I've been coaching college football a long time. He does it the right way. He's organized. Again, he reminds me of Herm. He reminds me of Antonio Pierce. And he's sharp, man. He don't miss a lot of things in practice. And I'm talking offensively and defensively. That's high praise, man. That's real. Yeah. And he just goes about it the right way. Man, when he sits in front of us as coaches, he's not afraid to coach us up as coaches. He's not afraid to tell us, hey, this is the message of the day, you know. And so, man, he coaches, whether it's the kids, us as coaches, us as men, he coaches. But my favorite thing about him is he's very honest and he's very transparent. There's no hidden agendas. He tells you, hey, this is how I want it done. This is what I expect. And if you don't do it, he's going to hold us all accountable. But at the end of the day, man, he just does it the right way, and he's never afraid to say, hey, I need a little help in this area. I'm not familiar with this. And then he leans on one of us other coaches, and you love that because as an assistant coach, you want to show your value, you know. And so that's what my favorite thing is, man. But if I was a young man, I wouldn't want to just play for him just because he's Deshawn Jackson, you know. I want to play for him, man, because, man, he cares for me a lot as a player, man. And he spends, like, significant amount of time with each player on this team. When every recruit comes here, man, he treats them like they're the greatest thing walking around. Whether you're a punter, a kicker, the starting quarterback, he treats everybody the same way with the same amount of attention. And he does the same thing with our families, man. I mean, my wife's in the building. He treats her like she's the #1 pick. You know, you see one of the coaches, their kids are in here. He treats them like they're the #1 pick. And so, man, he's just a great person. He does it the right way. And, you know, he just treats us all with respect. And that's what you like. That's awesome, man. Go ahead, MH.
I love it, Coach. How was the spring? You guys just wrapped up spring ball. How was the first spring practices and everything?
It was good, man. Let's not forget these kids have finished the last 2 years, 2-22. In this past season, there were 6 games where they went into the fourth quarter with a lead and still found a way to lose.
Oh, wow.
And so when you look at the fourth quarter of a lot of football games, that's when your culture starts to come out.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, are we a sharp team? Are we mentally tough? Are we focused? That's when a lot of that comes out in the fourth quarter when you're tired. It's easy to be somebody in the first quarter. That's easy. The score is 0-0. But now how are you going to respond when your back's against the wall or you do have a lead? Who are you going to be then? And so for a lot of us, these kids, they don't know what winning looks like. They don't know what it feels like. They don't know what it takes to get it done to win. And so there's a process of that. And so spring ball, man, it was all about the process. It was all about teaching these young men, okay, if you guys say you want to be a better team, this is what it's going to take. So receivers, when you catch that ball, I want you to catch it, tuck it away, and get vertical right now. Defense, when we take the field, you better run on the field. And every time the ball snap, I better see 11 hats at the ball. If not, hey, we're going up, down after practice. We're going to get it in. And so that's what a lot of this spring ball was. And I get it. Every coach across America could say, yeah, we're doing that too. But you know what? It was good because it's one thing to say, yeah, these kids, they were bad. But, man, as a full staff, we loved the challenge of what was ahead of us. We knew it wasn't going to be easy. And it was a blessing because all these kids received us. And so we were able to coach them hard. We coached these kids hard, man. But it hits a little different. I ain't going to lie. When you're a running back from Washington, D.C., and Clinton Portis is telling you, it hits a little bit different. I know because I get mad because I'm coaching my linebackers against them every day. But no, it's been good, man. We've been really harping on just trying to change the culture, change how these kids think, get these kids to believe in themselves, because that was the big thing. A lot of these kids, their mindset, they don't even believe in themselves. How are we going to win ball games if you don't believe in themselves? So that was a lot of it. We even had to do a lot off the field, but man, that's what it was. And it was a really good spring ball. We had a good turnout from the fans. We had 250 kids on junior day at the spring game. So there's a lot of buzz around here.
So really quick, that's what I was going to ask when I led into this, was just kind of what's the difference between junior day and just spring ball? Is it kind of like a culmination to bring both? Like could you kind of clear that up really quick?
Yeah. So all your rising seniors or kids that are getting ready to, this is a way to get all these kids on campus, and right now the score 0-0, our record is 0-0. We have a heavy buzz right now with our program. And so we're going to take advantage of this momentum. And so it was amazing, man. I've been some places for junior day. You'd be lucky to have 40 kids.
Wow. Okay. And so you said kind of grilling them and getting them. And you're right. There is such thing as a losers and a winners mentality, and you can develop the habit for either one of those. But so talk to me, man. What was it? What do I need to do to get into the Swarm Squad, man? Is that something that you put, you put down and just kind of develop maybe that toughness, that 11 hats on the ball? What are some of the things, that you want to develop for that Swarm Squad to kind of really become, that's how defenses are named, right? We have the Steel Curtain, we have the, I can't think of the Seattle's name right now, but
go Doomsday. You forgot the Cowboys. I don't know why you started with Steel Curtain. Go Doomsday.
Anyway. But no, but defenses, they gotta kind of come with that mantra of turnover. Oh, we got that, right? We're gonna stop them 4 and out. So what was kind of going into developing that mentality for the Swarm Squad?
Well, the first thing was teaching these kids from day one, get ready to be comfortable being uncomfortable. To be a great defense, there's going to be times where you have your back against the wall and you got to rip, claw, and be feisty and do all that, And so the big thing with these kids, I was teaching them, I'm afraid of bees, but I tell you what, I'm afraid of hornets. If you were to swipe at one hornet, you better believe that whole army, that whole swarm is going to come after you and chase the heck out of you. And so with these kids, is teaching them that same, we say this word a lot, mentality. And a lot of it is changing the mindset of these kids. Man, we're not going to just sit back and let you do whatever the heck you think you want to do as an offense, And so we go against what's called the slide offense every day, and they're doing their thing. But for us, we're not going to just sit back. So we're a little bit aggressive. And so, for us, it's just teaching these kids, man, hey, if you make a mistake, make it 110 miles per hour. Don't be afraid. If you make a mistake, as long as we're all running to the ball, that makes up for it. And it helps, too, when you have, I asked Coach Jackson this in front of the whole defense. I said, if you were to remember one thing from some of the toughest defenses you went against, what stood out to you? He said, it's crazy, man. It's like when you catch a hitch and you get ready to turn around, you see one guy fly at you. You make him miss. Now there's 10 more guys coming at you. And then they're doing it all night long. And so that was the mentality, man. We got to fly around. We got to have fun. We got to have a little swagger. And so I do. I let these kids, man, just be yourself. Have a little, we talk a little bit, but we got to be smart with how we do it. But I want these kids, I want you to feel like Superman. So that's what we do.
So, and some exciting stuff off field, right? Like, I think that is just as important, when you're talking about recruiting and against other, PWIs and other HBCUs, right? Like you're going against everybody. So you guys got some, announcements or some things in the future with some renovations, man. Is there anything you want to speak on about some of the top things that are coming around with some upgrades and things around the athletic department?
Yeah. One of the big things is I'm pretty excited about, you see the outside of our football stadium, we're going to have a new athletic facility, which is going to be huge because at the end of the day, you're trying to keep up with the Joneses around here, especially in college football. And as long as somebody steps foot on this campus and they see construction of an indoor facility, an athletic facility, they know that, you're invested into that program. And so for us, our AD, our president, they are heavily invested into improving not just football, but all the sports. And so we're excited, man, to get some of these new facilities. And, that's where we're headed. So we're excited about that.
Coach, talk to us a little bit about the foundation that you're building there. The spring ball and with a new team and new philosophy, new coaches, and the transfer portal has its own deals I'm sure you're dealing with now. But I would imagine that building the framework now in this version of college football can be challenging. Mm-hmm. And I think you could take this walk of life into any walk of life of just building the foundation, starting from the beginning. So what's kind of your process on laying the foundation first?
Yep. You have to, one of the hardest things is when we first came in here, there's a lot of vocal leaders. There was a lot of vocal leaders or kids that were anxious that wanted to lead. But then for some of them, their performance wouldn't match their voice. And so so some of those voices started to get a little bit quieter, but then other guys who used to be quiet, they started performing really well. So they started talking more. And so at the end of the day, what started happening was, you get 15 practices to develop and see, okay, who's a guy and who's a leader around here. And guys start to gravitate kind of towards those guys that become those ball players. I know because I call them out in meetings. And so when I keep calling out this guy, everybody's like, dang, I need to start playing like that guy. When they see his effort, they see the way he takes the field. Now more guys start doing that, And so it's kind of like if you play for the Lakers, you're going to sit there and you're going to watch LeBron James and you're going to be like, dang, I got to be like that. Well, that's what we're doing with our leadership here. We're getting a lot of kids that we've identified some leaders. We identified some kids that play really hard. And a lot of those guys have gravitated towards those guys. And so what that does is it creates a foundation. Because as coaches, we've already identified what it is we want and how we want it done. And so there's a foundation with those kids. And so now when these new guys come in, what you did is you've established a culture that's strong enough so when the new guys come in, it's, hey, this is how we do things around here. And so if you want to be a part of this team, you're going to do it our way. And so that's what it's been about. And so we've been fortunate. I think we've installed and instilled enough of a strong enough culture to where when some new guys come in, they're going to be like, okay, I see what they got going on here. So, yep.
No, that's good stuff. And I'm going to hit you with some kind of quick stuff just to kind of get through because I definitely think it's important. One, you talked about how Coach and just you all have done the stuff on the field, but also are doing the stuff, the soft skills and developing them. And you've had like Inky, that's one of the top or just dope speakers, like come in. And it's not only probably a good recruiting tool, but it's also developing them. And I'm also wondering, when are y'all bringing SZA in? She's a DSU alumni, right? Like, I know you guys got a lot of notable football players and basketball players that have come out of the university, but let's not forget SZA is a strong alumni. But no, it was great to have that. Could you tell me quickly what it was like to have that and him pour into the kids that day?
Yeah. Well, I'm going to tell you this right now. If SZA ever steps foot on this campus again, all meetings are canceled. We're all heading over to the auditorium. We're going to be there. Great performer. She's a great performer. But no, man, like when you get guys like Inky Johnson in here, man, it was powerful. I mean, that guy's story, what it did was it taught a lot of the kids that don't take football for granted. All this can be taken away from you just like that. And to hear that brother speak, you know, to where it's not just always about talent. It's about the man that's inside. You know, I think that really touched a lot of young men. Everybody was locked in. But I thought it brought us closer as a team. Because his story is pretty special. And so that was pretty unique. And I think, again, that stems from our head coach, man. He does a lot of stuff. We've prayed as a whole team, which is hard to do because not every school is like that, you know. And so we've done just little things like that. We've organized some other things that we're going to start doing off campus as well with the guys. But heck, we got an Air Force base, so we're going to have some of them guys come in and talk culture. But no, it's been good, man. Coach Jack does a good job, man, of just brother. He talks about team.
That's big.
So, yeah.
All right, another quick one for you. So, you guys have a historical rivalry, and I don't know if you call it rivalry. Do you want to talk about the August 28th? I think that's your home opener this year with the Blue Hens, man. Talk to us about that, man. I hope that's circled and y'all really come out and, you know, show them what the Hornets Nest is all about.
Yeah. No, we are extremely excited about that. You know, Delaware is a team that has developed a lot of success. They've done a good job in FCS football. This is their time to move up. They've done a good job. But at the end of the day, man, that's going to be a great test for us as a program. It's going to show us where we're at. And I tell you what, man, these people around here, they're not afraid to let you know that's a very important game. You know, and for me being a coach that's been all over the country, whether it was Arizona and Arizona State or just wherever, man, that's a pretty big game right there. And so the days are counting down. We are extremely excited about it. It's going to be a great atmosphere. I'm a little jealous because we got to go up there. I wish it was here. Go figure. But no, that is a serious rivalry game. And so I got to learn a little bit more about the past performances, but we're excited about it.
Yeah, the Route 1 rivalry. And I think rivalries make programs, right? Rivalries make stories. I mean, you know, a lot of people are giving Caitlin Clark, but, you know, without Angel Reese, you know, how big is that story, that rivalry, you know, Michigan, Ohio State, all of that stuff. So, no, it's definitely. MH, I had another question. You want to jump in really quick on the rivalry?
No, do your thing. Just shout out Joe Flacco, still getting checks. Delaware.
Still getting checks, right? And then another game, you know, me and MH may figure out how to get down to this November 1st game. So you got you guys are playing Mike Vick, right? So is he in your conference? That's one thing I couldn't really figure out. There also, so you guys play them every year. So yeah, man, we want to see that, man. Former teammates now going against each other, all of that. So for those who don't know, Michael Vick is you know, newly head coach too. So it'll be their like first matchup, man. So it'll be kind of good to see how that, you know, goes, and maybe they got a side bet, man. We got to figure that out if they got a side bet.
Somebody go and post that first play, that Monday night game. I don't know if it's y'all or then somebody's hitting that post in the first play. Somebody calling it.
So we definitely see if we can figure out how to get down to, because that's now they play that game at your home stadium, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so we may figure out what we doing in November, and we may have to have Black and Sports live at the game.
Come on down.
There it is. All right, man. So last thing that I have really quick is just kind of how important is the HBC Legacy Bowl that's kind of sponsored or put on by the Black College Hall of Fame, man. I don't know, was that around when you played at Tennessee or if like that's kind of newer, but just even if it was where it's at today, man, how was that for the program and for the kids you guys have?
Yes. It gives all these HBCU players just another light to be in, to where they can go out, compete, showcase who they are. without the other big universities there. And so what does that do when all the other schools aren't there? All eyes are on us. And so I think it's opened up a lot of doors for a lot of young men. And I'm excited because you actually talk about that in recruiting. You're going to have a shot to be in front of all 32 NFL teams.
That's big.
So it's a big thing.
MH, you got anything else before we move on?
No, your world.
All right, so this is where we call the coaching gym. This is the assist. All right, so this is where you kind of give our audience words that you live by, maybe a quote that's one of your favorite quotes, or maybe just kind of like words that you would tell your younger self. But right here, if you could kind of give us that assist and give us that coaching gym.
Yeah, the first thing is control the controllable. Control the controllable. You know, you can't control what other people think. You can't control what other people are saying, but you can control your attitude. You can control how you react. And so if you can learn to have self-discipline and control yourself, man, that's going to give you a lot of success, because sometimes you ain't always got to be hurt, you know? And so sometimes if you can learn to stay poised, calm, focused, and locked in, man, you'll have a lot of success in life. And so a lot of dumb decisions happen when we react emotionally. And so if you can learn to just stay under control, man, control the controllable.
I love it. And did you have another one?
Man, that's kind of like my go-to one, man, to be honest, because it always keeps coming up in life. I mean, I guess the other one is, like I said, learn how to be comfortable being uncomfortable.
Absolutely, man. Those are definitely gems. MH, final thoughts?
Nah, Coach, man, I appreciate you, man. I still got half a year of eligibility, man. You got me fired up.
Come on.
I want to play. I can do cover 3. I don't know if I can man up for you, but I can do a little cover 3 now. But nah, man. You know, much praises and wishes and prayers for your success and health of all the staff and your family and the kids, man. Excited for what you guys are doing, Coach, and I really appreciate you taking out some time to talk to us and get us fired up for this season, man.
Thank you.
Absolutely. You got some new fans, man. So that's one of the things about being part of this Black and Sports, family. We'll definitely be checking in and seeing how you're doing it, and really going to talk offline and see if we can make that November 1st game happen. That'd be something awesome to do. But yes, just continued success. Our blessings to you. And really want to thank Aaron and VCG Sports for all they do is supporting us in the show as well. And I know that's part of management, so looking forward to seeing all the great things. Coach, we want to thank you, man. So thank you for taking the time, and again, good luck this year. And then for you, the audience, man, we hope you enjoyed the show, man. I hope you found some good nuggets in there. We dropped some gems and learned something. So if you did learn something, please share it. And then they also need some support. And there's also some financial support they'll take as they're building these new buildings. So you can kind of go online and check out that stuff as well. But get involved in support, man, because, we're a community. And if we all build together, we'll be stronger. As always, we drop a new show every Thursday. So please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Visual representation matters. So if you see it, you can be it. And you know how we do it, man. As always, please stay safe, practice gratitude, and know we're rooting for you.
Screaming, all us blacks got is sports and entertainment until we even.
Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Yeah. Yeah. Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Look. Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Spent about 2 racks on handmade new rags. Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. That's everybody from sports to college class to rap.